coverage of opposition leader Tundu Lissu's treason trial, citing the need to protect prosecution witnesses. The move has drawn criticism from Lissu and his party, CHADEMA, who say it undermines transparency and prevents the public from following the case. Joining us now from Dar es Salaam is Isaac Lukando, SABC News correspondent in Tanzania, to discuss the implications for political freedom, for media transparency, and the country's upcoming elections as far as this decision. Isaac, thank you for joining us. How are you on this Tuesday morning?
I'm good. I'm fine.
Can you tell us what's happening on the ground with this ban of live coverage of Tundu Lissu's trial?
Well, Tanzanians are just waking up to the decision that was made yesterday by the magistrate in charge of the court that is listening to Tundu Lissu's case. The decision seeks to enforce an earlier High Court order that is aimed at protecting some of the prosecution witnesses in the case, particularly civilians, and in this case it's non-security personnel, by ensuring that their identities are not revealed nor their personal details disclosed. So in terms of reaction, save for the normal chatter that we hear on social media, Tanzanians will be waking up to this news and perhaps reacting to it. And when it comes to Tundu Lissu and his party and the movement generally that they've had over the last few months, opinions are split in Tanzania. There are those that see that he has a point and he has a right to pursue what he's pursuing in court, and there are those that for them doesn't completely register. For example, claims of having a constitution or constitutional review heading towards the elections. That ordinary Tanzanians who feel that that is really not necessary and has very little bearing in terms of what their life is going to be post-election. So opinions are generally, or have been generally, very, very split here. Now, as far as this particular ruling is concerned, there are those, of course, siding with Tundu Lissu, saying that his main argument is that the public deserves to be able to hear what is going on, to hear and see what is going on in court. But on the part of the court, it says, well, while it has embraced an open court principle that the public has always been allowed to view what's going on and hear what's going on and be part of those proceedings, for the sake of protecting the prosecution witnesses under the law, because Tanzania does have a Witness Protection Act in place, they felt that it is necessary to hear the testimonies of these witnesses in private to keep their identities safe. So there's definitely split opinion when it comes to Tundu Lissu, and in particular this. We suspect that there should be split opinion, as has been the case in the months preceding this case.
How credible is the reason given that then the protection of prosecution witnesses needs to be implemented here? Is that a common occurrence in Tanzania, that there wouldn't be enough security to protect these witnesses otherwise?
Well, I would argue that the Witness Protection Act is a relatively new piece of legislation in terms of protecting witnesses. Those who are protected, we have no means of knowing whether they are protected and to what extent they are protected. It is what the court is telling us, that they need to be protected. Over the years, and in my practice as a journalist, we have been allowed into courts to see proceedings, and usually the practice has been to come in and we have access to shoot activity in court before court sessions begin, and after the court session concludes. And we are allowed to report on everything that has presided over in court. Now, the law here in Tanzania allows for special protections, especially when it comes to children's cases, that children, well, of course, their cases are held in camera, but even when it comes to the court records, which are now public and digital in this day and age, their names are not fully disclosed there. Maybe an abbreviation is used to indicate their names. So we know, for example, in children's cases, there are those protections. But this is fairly new, and of course will elicit a lot of attention because of the nature of the person involved. Tundu Lissu is a prominent political figure in Tanzanian politics, has been so for quite a while now, and therefore there's a lot of attention on this. And it is on this premise that the court felt that it must take measures to protect those witnesses that are involved. We recall that recently there was a prison officer who was accused of manhandling Tundu Lissu in court, and we saw on social media some of members of the public identifying his full name, rank and file, and even where he lives. We are not quite sure, but this may be a contributor to the decision that has been reached here, especially for prosecution witnesses, to be protected, just in case there might be someone out there who'd like to harm them. Now, as I said earlier, this is a two-sided story. There are those on the Lissu camp that feel that this is a violation of their rights for Tanzanians to be able to follow the ongoings in court, and therefore demanding that this be reversed. Now, it also must be noted that in terms of the evolution of the judiciary, we are now seeing for the first time live streaming of the proceedings in court. This is unprecedented, and the court had reached the decision to do so because of public interest that many in Tanzania would want to see this. As I said earlier, there was a special arrangement for journalists to be able to cover court proceedings, and the general public are usually allowed, but because of the large number of people that would have wanted to come and see proceedings in court, rather than have large crowds outside the court said that we will stream this live. But at this juncture, it has made a decision to protect those that are giving witness, and have decided therefore to seize the live broadcast of.
Let's leave it there for now, Isaac. Thank you so much for your insights, and it remains to be seen then in terms of how journalists will manage to cover this trial. That's obviously garnered a lot of attention if they are not going to be allowed to have live streaming. We leave it there. That's SABC News correspondent in Tanzania, Isaac Lukando, joining us from the city of Dar es Salaam to give us the latest in terms of Tundu Lissu's treason trial and the banning of live coverage.